The Italian chicken sandwich, melted mozzarella and bella sauce, or the French, dressed to perfection with très delish ham and Swiss, or the American, totally overflowing with American cheese and veggies. So many chicks, so little time.
We do it like you do it at Burger King.
WCCO Television, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Channel 4.
A semi-truck tips over on I-35W southbound this afternoon, sending the driver to the hospital and backing up traffic for quite a stretch. It took most of the afternoon just to get things cleared up.
WCCO Television presents Don Shelby, Pat Miles, and Bud Crayley. This is the 5 p.m. report.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. The driver of that semi-truck remains hospitalized this afternoon in critical condition.
His truck tipped over while trying to exit 35W southbound at 66th Street, causing traffic tie-ups on and off for much of the afternoon until the truck got righted again. Let's join Trish Van Pilsen for details now. Trish?
Pat and Don, the initial traffic tie-up at the time of the accident was fairly serious, but since then traffic problems have been intermittent. But first, let me help you get your bearings in terms of where we are. The bridge behind me is Crosstown 62, and 2 ramps have been closed now for several hours. This one, which comes off of southbound Lyndale and Nicollet Avenues, and that one, which comes off of eastbound Crosstown 62. The truck is blocking the area where those 2 ramps merge and enter 35W South. And as you can see, it's at the top of the Crosstown ramp where traffic is starting to slow down. Drivers who plan to take the southbound 35W exit are now being rerouted, and we understand that some of them aren't taking it very well.
One woman ran me off the road, went up over the curb, and went down the ramp anyway.
She must have been in a hurry.
No, she was an older woman. She apparently didn't understand. It's just been very busy. People stopping to ask directions, stopping to find another way off the ramp. And it causes a hazard to that party and the other drivers.
Believe it or not, the accident that caused the tie-up happened 4.5 hours ago. Pat, as you mentioned, a semi-truck traveling south on 35W rolled over as it tried to maneuver the curve just north of 66th Street exit. The driver was hospitalized, is still in critical condition. He is 31 years old. We understand he is suffering from multiple fractures. Now, crews are still trying to remove the truck's cargo, large rolls of paper, and until they finish that, they can't pull the truck upright. Now, we've turned around here so that behind me you can see the truck, you can see the crews working, trying to take the rolls of paper out of the truck. Once they take the rolls out of the truck, they will hook chains around it and hook it to tow trucks and pull the truck upright. That will take 2 full lanes of traffic. So when they do that, which will be about 6 o'clock this evening, they'll close both southbound lanes of 35W north of the 66th Street exit. Again, that'll be about 6 o'clock, right in the heart of rush hour traffic. So I suspect that the traffic tie-up that we've seen because of this accident are not over yet. Pat and Don?
Boy, picked a good time, didn't they? All right, thank you, Trish. St. Paul Police Chief William McCutcheon was cleared today of any criminal wrongdoing in connection with the long-standing probe into downtown prostitution there. However, Ramsey County Prosecutor Tom Foley implied a number of ethical questions about McCutcheon's involvement remain up in the air. Foley took over the case this spring because of allegations McCutcheon met with the prime target of the probe and hampered the investigation. Today's report concludes the chief did not obstruct the probe while pointing out a number of what it calls serious discrepancies in what the chief did say. McCutcheon is on vacation, and aide says he won't comment until he sees the report.
The initial fear about parking ramp safety in Minneapolis has quieted with the arrest of suspects in both ramp killings, but work continues to make the ramps safer. And today, Minneapolis city officials gave out free personal alarms to people who have monthly passes at the city's 6 parking ramps. If a person is in danger, he or she can just pull a plug on the alarm and then throw it aside. It will make a loud noise that might get somebody else's attention. 800 distributed today, 3,500 more by week's end. Late this afternoon, protesters set up shop outside the site of the planned Hennepin County garbage burner. It is now under construction. The demonstration is sponsored by the Citizens Coalition to Stop the Incinerator. The group is in favor of recycling garbage.
The stage is set at the Omni in Atlanta this afternoon for the party's candidate to take center stage at the Democratic National Convention tonight. Nominee Michael Dukakis is scheduled to give his acceptance speech. Let's join Skip Loescher and Colleen Needles in Atlanta.
Unfortunately, Pat, the weather is not going to make most of these delegates very comfortable right now. Besides being about 95 degrees, as you can tell, it's a little inclement out there.
The rain was just pouring down a few minutes ago, and no one here was prepared for that.
No, I know I wasn't. I found an old newspaper, ran across the street, and got soaked anyway.
Right.
Well, though, as you did mention, this is the night that 18 months of campaigning and 3 nights of convention thus far have been building towards, the night that Michael Dukakis will accept the Democratic presidential nomination.
And no one is more concerned that everything goes smoothly than Michael Dukakis himself. And so early this morning, Dukakis was at the auditorium, at the podium, checking where he will stand, testing the teleprompter, and getting comfortable. His speech will begin at about 9 o'clock Twin Cities time, and he will finish sometime before 10 o'clock.
That speech is expected to be pretty much upbeat, talk about the economy, probably won't last a heck of a lot longer than 45 minutes. Dukakis campaign officials say he will not try to match the Reverend Jesse Jackson's rhetoric. That's probably a good thing. Nor will he try to match keynote speaker Ann Richards. They say Dukakis will be allowed to be Dukakis and that he'll deliver what they call a statesman-like address. And while that speech is underway, it's virtually certain that a lot of people will have to listen to it on television. There should be another lockout here tonight. For the past couple of nights, the building has been closed by the fire marshal because it's just too full of people. Congressman James Oberstar was locked out Tuesday night. And then the keynote speaker, Ann Richards, was left out in the cold last night. That did not make many of the delegates or Ms. Richards very happy.
Now, the fact that everyone wants to get in here is one measure of the excitement that this convention has created here in Atlanta. The other is the frenzy for pins. Now, every station or exhibitor seems to have a special pin, and there is great competition to trade and collect all of these pins. Photographer Gene Maynard captured some of this pin panic on videotape.
How many people? You said, okay. Now my favorite in color is the U.S. News and World Report.
Look at this, thank you. Goodbye. This one plus any 2 of those.
Get your camera rolling.
Kind of a good deal. It's not a great deal.
I'm running out of trading stuff now, man.
What you got?
I think this is a good commodity on the black market.
That's the only way to keep your sanity during a week like this.
We're running out of room here.
I like the white one better.
Oh, I do too.
But this is once in a lifetime that I'm going to put away from my grandchildren. Yeah, well, this one's different from this one. This one's raised, that one's flat.
I don't like this one. That's silver.
Well, every one of these is valuable to me.
Where'd you get that?
Well, I'm running out of room. It's a dirty business.
It's a hot pin.
He wants my shirt.
I can't.
You might get his shirt, too, around here. You're going to watch things walk away. We'll be back in a moment to examine what the Dukakis victory might mean for Minnesota Democrats in a second.
All right, thank you both. And one footnote, by the way, actress Olympia Dukakis will introduce her cousin at tonight's convention session. You'll recall she won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress this year in the movie Moonstruck. She calls being the cousin of the party's nominee for president, quote, one of the great parts an actress is always hoping for.
Stay with us now as the Thursday 5 continues. We're going to turn our attention back to the drought.
And we will talk with a lawn expert to try and sort out some confusing messages some people are getting about how to care for their grass, trees, and flowers these days. We'll have the story up next.
To make a superior biscuit, Hardee's relies on advanced technology, like our automatic buttermilk processor. Heavy equipment. Meticulously formulated components. At Hardee's, our biscuits are made totally from scratch by the most complex piece of machinery known. Hardee's Rise and Shine biscuits. Get 'em with steaming hot sausage gravy in our biscuit and gravy platter. It's the least we can do to win you over.
If others cared as much as LensCrafters, they'd all deliver quality glasses in about an hour. But many can't because they don't have in-store labs. And many don't because fast to them is anything from a few hours to a few weeks.
LensCrafters took exactly an hour.
LensCrafters' 1 hour delivery is very important to me.
1 hour, one choice. LensCrafters.
LensCrafters, custom crafted eyeglasses in about an hour. Burnsville Center, Southdale Center, Lomans Plaza, Crystal Shopping Center, and now in Suburban Square.
When you're looking for the affordable way to buy a brand new truck or a brand new car, then get on it here to the #1 Nissan dealer in the entire region, Burnsville Nissan. Call 435-5550. Better yet, get in here and see this. A brand new 1988 Nissan pickup or this brand new 1988 Nissan Sentra. Now you take your pick for only $116 a month or a low $72.66. Burnsville Nissan, Buck Hill Road. Hurry, make your best deal today.
Here's your chance to go to Sweden for the ultimate tailgate party when the Vikings meet the Bears. Find out if you're a winner tonight at 6:30 during Wheel of Fortune here on Channel 4.
Could the end of the drought be in sight? According to state climatologists, the worst may be over for the metro area. The Twin Cities have received nearly 2 inches of rain since yesterday morning. That's welcome relief to homeowners who have let their yards go dormant and turn brown. Now, we have asked horticulturist Deborah Brown of the University of Minnesota to join us. Tell us more about how this rain has affected our yards and gardens and to give us some tips on how we should care for them now. The first thing that I would like to do with Ms. Brown is to separate these issues into two different categories. We're going to go to Deborah Brown now to have her talk to us a little bit more about how to care for our lawns. Ma'am?
Well, what's happened with the rain that we've had is that some of the lawn is going to come out of dormancy. The parts that are going to come out are sort of half green, half dead looking now. They won't be probably the real dry yellow parts. And you have to make the decision at this point when it greens up. Do you want to keep watering it, which is one way to keep it healthy, or do you want to take a chance and let it go dormant again? Each time it comes out of dormancy, it's riskier that it's never going to come back the next time. So that's really a problem for people to think about now.
I'm going to take the chance. Do you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay, wonderful. There is some concern, and we've heard this concern expressed by a number of people who not only work here at the station, but also have called the station for some help, and that has to do with companies which service the lawns for people, provide fertilizer, chemical services, what have you. There's some confusion about what to do when that individual shows up for the contract period to put the chemicals on the lawn. Should they be allowed to do that, or should they be told to go away for a while and come back when we're in better circumstances?
Well, it seems to us that the safest thing to do is not to put any kind of applications on the lawn at this time, not to use weed killers, not to use fertilizers, unless that lawn is green and growing. If the lawn has been watered right straight through the summer, and maybe you have a sprinkler system and you can really keep it healthy, then there's no problem with a lawn service making an application. However, if the lawn is dormant or if the lawn is moisture stressed and looking kind of shabby, it's not a good idea. Then you should wait until fall when it greens up again.
All right, now what about those lawns that when they get some rain are starting to show some life again? Can a yard come back in the same year that you've let it go dormant?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, we hope they'll come back this year. I think if they don't come back this fall, there's much less chance of their coming back in good shape when spring rolls around.
When we water our lawns, as long as we don't have the severe water restrictions, I understand that the old-fashioned sprinkling system that we've used, the kind of sprayer that goes through the air, that's not a very effective kind of sprinkler to use after all.
Well, it's certainly the least effective in terms of conserving moisture. It'll do a good job for the lawn, but if you can use a sprinkler that stays low to the ground, or soaker hoses, or use your sprinklers at a time when it's not as hot or windy. In other words, use it very early in the morning or very late at night. Less of that water is going to be lost to evaporation, and so you have a more efficient system.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're
All
sure
good
welcome.
advice, and we hope the lawns do come back this year. Thank you very much. Pat?
A dispute over drought insurance has prompted the Minnesota Commerce Department to begin action in preventing the Chubb Insurance Company from doing business in the state. At a morning news conference, Commissioner Mike Hatch said he hopes the threat of license revocation will move Chubb to issue the policies it now says it does not have the money to cover. When the offer first went out, Chubb says it was prepared to cover $40 million worth, but that it got nearly $400 million in drought insurance requests. So the company is returning most of the premiums, along with a type of goodwill check for the same amount. Hatch says a ban on Minnesota business would cost Chubb $61 million each year. We want to check now back with Skip Loescher, Colleen Needles, and the rest of the crew in Atlanta.
Pat, when Michael Dukakis accepts the nomination of his party tonight, the campaign hopes of Minnesota Democrats will automatically be tied to that presidential candidate.
And with George Bush trailing Michael Dukakis in the Minnesota polls, one has to wonder how vigorous a campaign the presidential candidate is likely to run there. For an answer to that, let's go down to the convention floor and Pat Kessler. Pat?
Skip, we are on the convention floor. Most of the Minnesota polls taken before this convention show that Michael Dukakis leads George Bush by 10 to 17 points in Minnesota. Even so, Dukakis will mount what is the largest campaign Minnesota has ever seen. It's a $250,000 effort with 15 field offices around the state and up to 50 paid staffers. It is a machine that could help other Democrats, particularly U.S. Senate candidate Skip Humphrey, who's lagging in the polls. Humphrey has been here in Atlanta this week, basking in the reflected glow of the presidential campaign. And Dukakis' campaign director says the presidential candidate will help the Senate candidate.
A 2-to-1 margin in the Twin Cities and about a 7-to-1 margin in northern Minnesota. And if we are able to win by margins like that in those parts of the state, I think without a question, Skip Humphrey will be able to run up margins of a similar size, and that will tighten up the race dramatically.
There's no question that Dukakis' lead over Bush in Minnesota will help a little bit. The question is whether it will help enough to erase Dave Durenberger's lead over Humphrey. Now, one factor seen as a plus for Humphrey is the lottery. Traditionally, a lottery vote in any state brings out a lot of Democrats. But a minus for Dukakis, according to some of the Republicans we've talked to, is that they will, with great zest, reveal his liberal record. What they see as a liberal record, very, very slowly over the summer. Colleen?
Pat, now do you know, is Dukakis going to be launching such a wide-scale campaign on every state, or why particularly in Minnesota?
It's an interesting question because Minnesota is one of his probable wins. He ranks Minnesota among 11 states in the country that he is very likely to win. It is just that he has some special feelings for Minnesota, the campaign tells us, that he is going to do this. He wants to highlight Minnesota's Iron Range, for one. Another is that his wife, Kitty Dukakis, spent some time in a chemical dependency unit in Minnesota about 8 years ago. So they're going to spend more time there, and they believe it will help some of the Democratic candidates. Colleen?
All right, thank you, Pat. While there is definitely unity at this convention, not all is harmony here. We found a bit of discord in the exhibition hall. The folks who sell all those clever buttons and bumper stickers feel they were misled. They even staged a protest of their own earlier this week. Members of the Minnesota-based Northern Sun Alliance, a group that sells T-shirts and buttons, says business is terrible because vendors were placed in the basement and no one knows they're there. And while we're at it, we thought we would show you another of the Hollywood stars observing this convention. That's Bridget Nielsen behind those Foster grants. She is the former wife of Sylvester Stallone and the former fiancée of Mark Gastineau. She told our crew she is here in Atlanta because she feels strongly about some of the platform planks dealing with social justice. Oh, stop that.
I'm sorry. Gee. Well, it is pretty good stargazing around here, both Hollywood types and political types as well. Michael Dukakis, of course, addressing the convention tonight. You'll see that on Channel 4 and reaction to it. And I'll get my binoculars back.
I'm going to tell her about you, Skip. We're sending her a telegram. Thank you. Well, it's raining in Atlanta.
Yes, and very
Beautiful
warm there
here,
today.
though, huh?
Good night for coronation here, and there is one. Our Quintennial Queen of the Lakes coronation tonight at Children's Theater at 7:30, and we've got the forecast coming up in just a moment.
The way some places make hamburger patties, it's no wonder their burgers can turn out thin, dry, and hard. Well, at Hardee's, we make our quarter-pound patties more gently, so they cook up all thick, juicy. It's a complicated machine, but it's based on an idea that's quite old-fashioned, because at Hardee's, we're out to win you over.
Tony, what are you eating now? Fruitful Brand?
Yeah, it's peaches and raisins.
Hey, Tony, that looks good.
It is. It's Fruitful Brand. It's apples and dates.
You just said it was peaches and raisins.
Well, it was.
Don't lie to your father.
Well, now it's raisins, apples, and dates.
Didn't you just tell your mother?
Hey, it is apples and dates.
Give me the box, Rosa. I'll decide.
Only Fruitful Brand has so many fruits, you get a different fruitful combination in every bite.
It's peaches, raisins, and dates.
So it's
Kellogg's Fruitful Brand. It's never the same bite twice.
Old Home listens to the people.
The people say Old Home cottage cheese tastes the best. Large people tell us it tastes the best. Medium-sized people tell us it tastes the best. Small people and very, very small people say Old Home tastes the best. That's how Old Home serves the people.
My wife, every night she disappears into the bathroom. Who knows what's going on? But whatever it is, it makes her feel really good. See?
Clean away stains and freshen dentures with Efferdent every night.
Doctors measure back pain by how far you can bend. New Extra Strength Dones is made for back pain relief with an ingredient these pain relievers don't have. Dones makes back pain go away. New Extra Strength Dones, made for back pain relief.
Conditions still a little bit unstable after the rains of yesterday, and we had a few popcorn clouds today, and there was a fog in the early morning.
Now they do look like popcorn.
They do, don't they?
Beautiful morning, though.
Yes. Popcorn clouds, maybe that's not a meteorological term, but it's pretty cute, though.
It's a cute term.
Yeah. A year ago today, well, we started that big rain, and the temperature was 68 to 88. We had officially an inch of rain a year ago today. Some areas getting much more than that, and then it wound up, you know, the heavy rains of the 23rd. The coolest, July 21st, 49 degrees, 1947, and 105 degrees in 1934. At the moment in the Twin Cities, we are sunny, and the temperature is 85 degrees. That's our warmest temperature through the day. 31% humidity, northwest winds 5, dew point 51, pressure falling from 30.12. It's sunny, temperature at 85 degrees. We still have that upper level disturbance over Wisconsin, and it's rotating in the mostly eastern part of the state, and thunderstorms over the last half hour around Racine and Kenosha, Wisconsin. Sunny and temperatures near 90 through much of the Dakotas into western Minnesota. There again are those little popcorn clouds over Minnesota. We still have some precipitation scattered along the area from Baldwin, Wisconsin down to Wabasha near La Crosse, and from St. Croix Falls up to Sandstone and over to Cumberland and Spooner, Wisconsin. Because that is the western side of that disturbance, the precipitation is moving to the south at 25 miles an hour. So rain through Wisconsin extends over to Michigan. Here's that long line along the cold front of thunderstorms from southern Texas to the northern part of Maine, the Susquehanna region of New York and Pennsylvania, 1 to 2 inches of rain today, and some heavy rains in southeastern Tennessee. There was rain at Lubbock, Texas, and through Huntsville, Alabama, up to Elkins, West Virginia. Kansas City this morning was 54 degrees. That was a record for the day. The hot spot was Glendale, Arizona, 105. The cool spot at Crescent City, California, the afternoon temperature at 55 degrees. Our forecast tonight for the metro area, we do have a chance of isolated showers. 55 temperature overnight, winds light and variable. Friday, sunny, up into the upper 80s. Southerly winds at 5 to 10, and the Saturday forecast for sunny to partly sunny and getting to the low 90s. We'll keep those low 90 temperatures through the rest of the weekend and into the first part of the week.
All right, thank you very much, Bud. Stay with us now. So Thursday 5 continues. We are going to tell you about the fishing clinic Twin Cities youngsters got in on today as part of the Aquatennial. Story is next. 2, 3.
Hey, good one, Mike.
A special feature's coming your way from Domino's Pizza to ruin the next day. It's a really big show, so don't be late. 2 regular cheese pizzas for just $8.88. Pay a bit more for toppings. It's all hot and fresh, 'cause it's at your door in 30 minutes or less. Hurry, this won't last forever. Savings like these may be now or never. Domino's Pizza delivers savings.
At Kemp's, we never know when the inspiration for a unique ice cream flavor will strike us. This summer, it's Peaches and Cream, a delicious limited edition ice cream from Kemp's.
A foreign power has invaded the Midwest. Silently, it has infiltrated every aspect of our lives. This foreign power, electricity from Canada. NSP buys this electricity when it's cheaper than producing it here to save you money. Creative energy, NSP.
I had entertained thoughts that maybe it would be nice to have larger breasts. Not huge breasts, but just larger breasts.
She put falsies in her and, you know what I'm saying?
Running for a bus. God, they took on a life of their own. I was like...
Small-breasted women say bigger isn't better. Next, Donahue.
Donahue, Friday morning at 8 on Channel 4.
At Kemp's, we've been working hard to make our new frozen yogurt 97% fat-free. Kemp's low-fat frozen yogurt in 4 natural fruit flavors, so smooth and refreshing, you won't believe it's only 80 calories a serving.
An aquatennial event staged today on the shores of Lake Calhoun, the kind of event kids fell for, hook, line, and sinker.
It was a kind of
Did you write
event.
that?
Well, I did, as a matter of fact. It was a youth fishing clinic put on by Star Trib outdoor reporter Ron Shera and about 20 of his close personal fishing buddies. Hundreds of youngsters showed up today between noon and 4 this afternoon. Clinics held in casting accuracy, fly rod casting, knot tying, and how to read a depth finder. Ron and clinic sponsors U.S. West have been able over the years to attract not only kids but fishing tackle manufacturers to contribute time and prizes.
Fishing is an important thing, can be an important thing in a person's life. It has been in our life, and we know it can be in these young people's life, and we just whet their appetite here.
Let go a little late.
They've got an opportunity to provide some suggestions on the finer points of spin casting. Joe Young of Minneapolis, not altogether a willing student, but with just the right wrist motion, he proved himself up to the task. The youngsters were provided with equipment, lure packages from Lindy Littlejoe, help from Minnesota Bass Federation members, and a chance to spend a week at Camp Fish if their name was drawn. That's the In-Fisherman's instructional fishing camp for kids.
And I just want you to know that tomorrow I'm going to have Ron Share out caddying at a golf tournament.
At the Pat Miles MS Golf Tournament. That's exactly right. That's going to be at Majestic Oaks, and Ron's going to put away his fishing gear and strap on the spikes.
We're 50-50 here. And the Thursday 5 will continue in just a moment, but first we want to check the time for you. It is right now 26 minutes after 5 o'clock.
Sure, you get a vacation, but the hardest working member of your family doesn't.
I'm driving all day, I gotta do my work. I got to work, gotta do my work. Yeah.
That's why your car deserves a bonus. Fina Super Unleaded with Fina 1 detergent. It cleans engines, eliminates knocks and pings, and keeps your car running strong 52 weeks a year. The hardest working member of your family. Your car's got a friend at Fina.
At the border, we've got the freshest way to get away.
There's something over there you can't get anywhere.
The cool, fresh taco salad from Taco Bell.
It's what's happening next. It's where best meets west.
Crisp lettuce, tomatoes, ground beef, and more. In a bowl good enough to eat. The only taco salad fresh from the border.
Taco Bell has your order. Make a run for the border.
Sitmar Cruises.
Dreams come true, it's quite incredible. Vacations here are unforgettable. And you think I'm unforgettable too.
Sitmar Cruises. Everything you dreamed a vacation could be.
Unforgettable.
These 100-degree days won't last forever. After all, this is Minnesota. And Towsley Ford and Towsley Subaru are having a four-wheel drive sale. Over 300 in stock. Everything from Broncos, full-size pickups, Bronco 2s, to Rangers. A four-wheel drive truck with all these extras for just $99.95.
And at Towsley Subaru, we have four-wheel drive starting at just $69.95. One of the lowest prices in America.
Get a four-wheel drive now before the snow flies at Towsley Ford.
And Towsley Subaru, White Bear Lake.
Well, I'm sure you've heard about it. Kirk Carlson, Chief Executive Officer of the Minneapolis-based Carlson Companies, is having an anniversary party this Saturday, and not just any party. It is a 50th anniversary bash, and all Carlson Twin City employees are invited. In fact, the Roy Wilkins Auditorium in St. Paul will be transformed tonight into a place called Carlson World. 30,000 square feet of space dedicated to the more than 75 Carlson companies that employ about 50,000 people. The Carlson World display is just one event leading up to Saturday night's extravaganza, at which Bob Hope will be the MC.
It ought to be the most talked about party of the decade. I'll tell you what, he is the nicest rich guy in the world, I presume.
Probably
I haven't met that many, but of those I've met, this is the nicest one, I think.
Probably make People magazine with that.
Think so? Well, that ought to just cap off his career, huh?
A preview of one of the items forthcoming on the 6 p.m. report.
Abbott Northwestern Hospital has a new laser.
one that can remove birthmarks without leaving scars, a laser that uses color. I'm Tony McNary. I'll have the story coming up on the 6 p.m. report.
And of course, our live convention coverage will continue from